Yeah, you were saying that a lot of your work is with the caregivers, and it's not just about educating them on how to care for this person who may or may not have reversible symptoms, but it's also educating them on their own personal self-care
Yes.
and their own ability to stay in balance
Yes.
while taking on this role that could last for many, many years.
Hmm.
So I'm sure that for someone with dementia, although it might sometimes be difficult to discern their experience, you're finding that they are conscious and there are ways for you to be able to interpret whether they're having a, like you described, this is like the goal of Zen meditation is to get to some of these states. So there's a potential to have a blissful experience with it,
Hmm.
but there's also ways that you can measurably see people that are not having a blissful experience with it. And I'm sure that's very much
Absolutely.
tied into their caregiver and their experience.
You know, dementia has stages. When a person is first losing their grip on reality, it's an incredibly terrifying place. Things are changing, even their senses, all of their senses are changing. Sense of smell, taste, their vision, they become tunnel vision. Their field of vision reduces. Depth perception is lost usually by mid stages. They start to lose the ability to see how far something is away and how fast something is coming towards them. So they may actually still be driving and losing depth perception. I can tell on the road who doesn't have depth perception by how they're driving. So when you're talking about handicaps to your senses, that one woman was telling me that in the shower, the water hitting her skin felt like needles hitting her skin. So she was very adamant about not taking a shower, but she couldn't explain it to people. So just their sense of tactile senses start to change. The world around them changes, their whole perception. They lose the ability to localize their body in space. I mean, we walk into a room, we don't bump into things. We just kind of automatically, our gyroscope sort of tells us where we are in space. We sit down in a chair, we know how far away it is. They lose that ability where they don't have the connection to the space around them. So then it's really difficult to physically maneuver them, and they live in fear all the time, especially in those earlier stages. Now that's the difficult time, and they're losing control, so they fight for control. They'll have arguments and, I mean, over nothing, but they have to be right. They have to be in control because they're losing control, so they're grasping it. This becomes incredibly difficult for caregivers. It's a constant battle with the person. You're battling with them every day, all day long. It's like a bad marriage that never ends, so of course they're going to be exhausted, not just emotionally, but energetically drained. And the person with dementia is exhausted also because they're having these erratic emotional outbursts and inbursts and feelings, and they have no rationalization to understand what's happening to them or what's happening to the person outside of them.